Good morning, fifth graders. It's time for our Unit 10 review. We only have a couple units left in fifth grade math. Then you're on to sixth grade. Wow, that's crazy. First question. Follow along with me in your packet. Mary has $D as the balance in her checking account. She deposits $25 within a month. How much money does Mary have after 1 month? Keyword here, kids, is deposits. If you deposit money, you put money into it. Okay? So she has D dollars. So that's how much. We don't know how much. It could be $5. It could be $5,000. But if she deposits $25 within a month, she's taking what she already has, which is D, and she's adding that $25 in there. D plus 25. So your answer is A. Next problem. John has D dollars as a balance in his checking account. So we know there's a D in our algebraic expression. Jan has 6 times as much in his checking account as John. How much money does Jan have in his account? Well, if John has D, Jan has 6 times. Times doesn't mean add, subtract, doesn't mean divide. It means times, so multiply, pretty easy. D times 6. So if John has $5, Jan must have $30. If John has $1, Jan has $6. So your answer is B. Tony has D dollars as the balance in his checking account. Write an expression that shows the balance of Tony's account divided by 4. Well, if Tony has D dollars, don't make up a letter. If the letter is part of it, just add the letter. And then we have to see, what are we going to do with that? Well, divided by 4. It's nice and simple. You're going to take D divided by 4. That's all they're asking to do. Next problem. 1 apple weighs as much as blank marbles. Let's take a look here. Here's our PAM balance. Can I take away an apple from each side? No, but I can take away 2 marbles from each side, which leaves me with 1 apple and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 marbles. 1 apple weighs 18 marbles. 1 orange weighs how many marbles? Well, I have 4 oranges here. Can I cross off any oranges over here? I can't. So with the 4 oranges, I have how many marbles? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 oranges. Okay, which means I'm going to have to take 12 and divide it by 4. So one of these oranges is going to take 3 of these away. 1 orange is going to equal the same as 3 more. 1 orange is going to equal the same as 3 more. And this last orange is the same as these 3. So 1 orange weighs 3 marbles. Looks kind of sloppy now, but as you can see, as I take 1 orange away, I have to take away 3 marbles. All right, next one. 1 ball weighs as many as how many blocks? Well, I have 1 ball on this side, so take away 1 ball on this side. I have 2 blocks here, so I better take away 2 blocks here. Now it's pretty simple. I have 1 ball left. How many blocks do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 blocks. 1 ball weighs 13 blocks. Write the missing number. Well, 23 plus 4 equals blank plus 14. First of all, I better figure out what this equals. 23 plus 4 equals 27. So I have to find out what number plus 14 equals 27. I can also subtract 27 minus 14. I'll get 3 and I'll get 1. Well, does that make sense? 13 plus 14 equals 27. Next problem. Mrs. Griffin surveyed her class and asked them 3 questions. The class made the line plots to show the results. Here's the 3 questions. They're down at the bottom here. In which month of the year is your birthday? Well, let's take a look at the 3 plots. This one right here, well, first of all, I have to figure out how many months are there in a year. There's 12 months in a year. So which one of these would work with 12 months? Well, I know this one wouldn't work. I know that one. This one could work because the first month would be January, the last month would be December. And I know this month wouldn't work. So I automatically know that plot 2 is A. which leaves me with 2 left. I'm going to switch colors here to help you out. How many years old is the oldest child living in your house? 52 years old all the way up to 65, and the other one is 10 years old up to 18. Okay. And how many inches tall are you? Okay, in inches. Well, if you're 5 feet tall, which some of you are 5 feet tall, there's 12 inches and a foot. That'd be 60 inches. Okay. Let's take a look here. Well, some of you might argue that some of your grandparents might live at home, but the key word here is the oldest child. So this oldest child living at home would be lot 3, because a 10-year-old, that's how old you are. And if you have an older brother or sister, which is 18, that'd be a senior in high school. And the very last one, how many inches tall are you? And that would be C. Some of you are right here. I know some of you are taller than this. Okay, but good. Let's keep moving on. Lynn is planting tomatoes in his garden. He wants 1 plant for every 2 square feet. How many plants should he buy? To solve this problem, you need to find the perimeter or the area. Well, kids, the perimeter would tell us, I'll just put a P for perimeter. If this is his garden, perimeter would be the outside, right? I think most people plant, I would say all people plant their tomatoes in the inside of their garden. Area, oops, I meant to put an A there, not a star. Area would be the inside. So to solve this problem, he needs to find the area. Linda is buying a fence around her farmhouse. How many feet of fencing should she buy? Well, looking back at the last problem, here's her farmland. She is buying fencing to go around. She's not buying fencing to throw in the middle of her yard. That'd be kind of awkward. I think all of her chickens and cows would get out. So we'd have to use perimeter. Iris ran around a circular garden 15 times. How far did she run? To solve this problem, you need to find circumference or area. Well, let's look at some circles here. Circumference, that's a fancy word for saying perimeter. Okay, so I'd be going all the way around. Area, we know that means inside. So I'll put an A for area, a C for circumference. To solve this problem, you need to find circumference or area. Well, let's read it again. She ran around, ding, 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 circumference. Circumference is your answer. Circumference of a circle. Now, in class, I gave you this answer. I told you radius equals 6 centimeters. I apologize. So take a look down here. If my radius is 6, that means my diameter is twice that amount, right, kids? So 6 plus 6 would give me a nice answer of 12 for my diameter. Radius would be 6. What is the circumference of my circle? Well, I better look at my diagram here. This little fancy symbol here, remember the oatmeal cream pies? That pi symbol equals 3.14. Do some long multiplication here. So when finding the circumference, take a look. Pi times diameter. I'm going to use some scratch paper. Pi times d. I'm going to go back. D equals 12. 3.14 times 12. And you go ahead and multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Have my place value holder, cross off the 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Go ahead and add them up. I have an 8, a 6, a 7, and a 3. Common error that I see normally in this unit is kids forget to count where the decimals are at. Got a hidden decimal here. I'm going to use a different color. Hidden decimal here. I have a decimal here. I have no numbers behind the decimal here, but here I have 1, 2 numbers. So I'm going to start here. 1, 2. My decimal goes right there. So my diameter, or my bad, my circumference is 37.68 centimeters. 37 and 68 hundredths centimeters. The area, I'll use some scratch paper again. Pi, so this is 3.14, times radius squared, which is my radius is 6 squared. Now I know you're going to tell, or you know what I'm going to tell you. Common error is here. Kids want to do this. 3.14 times 12 equals. Remember, 6 to the second power doesn't mean 6 times 2. Please keep that in mind. It means 6 times 6, which gives me the answer of 36. Now I just multiply 3.14 times 36. You need to be doing this on your scratch paper. Multiply it out. Switch colors again. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Go ahead and erase this 2 up here so I don't get confused. Place value holder, I'm going to cross off this 6. I'm done with the 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Go ahead and add them up. Got a 4, 10. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 3 is 13. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Take out the red marker. How many numbers? I got decimal here. No numbers here. 2 numbers here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Please don't forget to do that decimal, because if I get an answer of 11,304, that is way off. Okay, kids? So my area of that circle is 113 and 4 hundredths. 113 and 4 hundredths centimeters squared. Hopefully this is all making sense. Ooh, double pan balance problems. I love these because you get to rotate or transform things, switch things out. Pretty neat. It's a lot of fun, actually. First thing, I'm going to look at this right here. Can I cross anything out? I can't. I got oranges and it looks like I got marbles. Go ahead and erase this line so it doesn't get confusing. Next thing, I can cross off 1 marble, 1 marble. So now I've got 4 marbles. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cubes. So I'm going to tell myself that 1 marble equals 2 cubes. 1 marble equals 2 cubes. Let's take a look here. 1 orange weighs as much as how many blocks? 1 orange weighs as much as how many marbles? So this right here doesn't help us yet, but I can look at this right here and answer one of those problems. 1 orange weighs as much as how many marbles? I've got 1 orange here, which is the same as 3 marbles. Because 2 oranges weigh 6 marbles. Now, after that being said, 1 orange weighs as much as how many blocks? Well, I know that 1 marble, remember there's a marble here, weighs the same as 2 blocks. So I'm going to cross off a marble, put 2 blocks in. Cross off a marble, put 2 blocks in. Cross off a marble. See what I'm doing, kids? Now you could just do the math or you could just draw it out, whatever's easiest. So now, after switching things out because of using this over here, 1 marble weighs the same as 2 blocks. So each one of these marbles is 2 blocks. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 blocks and I have 2 oranges. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6 blocks. 1 orange weighs the same as 6 blocks. Now, I could have done this a little faster. I know some of you did it really quickly with mental math. If I know 1 marble weighs the same as 2 blocks and I have 6 marbles, I could just take 6 times 2 and it will give me 12 blocks right away. And 12 divided by 2 would give me 6 as well. Just keep in mind, when you're doing this, kids get kind of confused right away with this. It's not too difficult at all. Look at it right away. What can you solve? What can you figure out right away? Well, by looking at this, you can solve right away that 1 orange weighs the same as 3. By looking at this one right here, right away, you can cross 1 off. 1 marble, 1 marble. So we're left with 4 and 8. That's how you can solve these. Next problem. The copy machine in the school office can make 80 copies per minute. 80 copies per minute. Keywords here. Complete the table, then graph the data in the table. So The rule is the time, so however many minutes times 80, right? So T times 80 is our rule. So after 1 minute, we have gone 80 copies. After 3, so we're going to go 80 times 3. We have 240 minutes. 4.5 here, we have 4.5 times 80. Subtract place value. 8 times 4 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 4 is 36. 0, 0, 6, 3. One answer behind, one here. 360. So now we have all the numbers on the right solved. Now, how do we get the numbers on the left? What I mean by that is, how do we get these numbers now? All you have to do, kids, is work backwards. What's the opposite of times 80? Well, you got to divide by 80. Might need some scratch paper for this. Remember, just keep the rules in there. So we have 160. 160 divided by 80. Oops. Better make some room for myself. Scratch paper. 160 divided by 80. How many times can 80 go into 1? 0 times. Now, some of you are looking at me like, wow, Mr. Green, this shouldn't be taking so long. I need to solve it all out. How many 80s go into 160? 80 times 2. Let's see what that looks like. 160. So, which would make sense because I better use a different color. 2 times 80 would be 160. Well, 200 is not a multiple of 80. So let's go 200 divided by 80. 80 times what goes, 80 goes into how many times? 0, subtract, got a 2, bring down the 0. 80 goes into 20, 0 times, subtract. How many times does 80 go into 200? Well, I'm going to put 2 times because 80 times 2 is 160. Subtract, bring down to 0. How many times does 80 go into 400? Well, 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 80 times 5 is 400. So 2.5. Just keep in mind, they're trying to trick you to see how this is 240, this is 200. Just follow the rule, okay? 440, so now we have to go 440 divided by 80. For some long division on this test, you'll be just fine. Just take it one step at a time. 80 goes into 4, 0 times. Subtract. Bring down the 4. 0, 0. Subtract. The 4. I just said 80 goes into 400 5 times, which would be 440. Decimal, decimal. Bring down 0. Remember, we don't want remainders on this. 80 goes into 400 5 times. It's supposed to be 0. 5.5. Okay. But how long would it take the copy machine to make 140 copies? So all they're doing, kids, is they're putting a 140 here. Well, how do we get this number then? Divide, just like we have been doing. 140 divided by 80. 80 goes in, I better make this an 80. 80 goes into 1, 0 times. Subtract 1, bring down the 4. 80 goes into 14, 0 times. Subtract. Bring down the 0. How many times does 80 go into 140? Once. So we have 80. Subtract. And we've got a 60 here. Bring down the 0. How many times can 80 go into... Yep. How many times can 80 go into 600? Well, let's go 80 times 7. What do we get? 560. 7, so we have 560. We still have a number left over, so we have to keep going, kids. The answer is not 1.7. Bring down to 0. Now we know 80 goes into 400 5 times. All it is, kids, is long multiplication. Now we're at a 0, so we know we're done. 1.75 is our answer. So how long would it take? 1.75 minutes. Okay, perfect. Hopefully you have scratch paper that's been worked out as well. Last problem. Now there's multiple ways to solve this last problem, and a lot of it's just kind of picking some numbers that work. So I'm just going to help you out a little bit. Renee is 3 times as old as Dana. Okay. So automatically I know if Renee is 1, Dana has to be 3. If Renee is 2, Dana has to be 6. You're just multiplying. 3 times as old. 5 years from now, Renee will be twice as old as Dana. Okay. So this is what you need to do to solve. This is what I want you to do. I'm not so concerned about problem 3. And cross that out. I'm more concerned if you can follow the rule. This is what I'm looking for. If Renee is 3 times as old as Dana. So maybe I was saying that wrong. So if Dana times 3 equals Renee. Okay. So if Dana is 5, or if Dana is 2, if we put a 2 in for this, 2 times 6, Renee would have to be 6. If Dana is 3, then Renee would have to be 9. If Dana is 4, then Renee would have to be 12. If Dana is 5, Renee would have to be 15. If Dana is, we'll go up to like 7. If Dana is 6, Renee would have to be 18. And last one, if Dana is 7, Renee would have to be 21. So we have multiple ages down here at the bottom. The next question states this. 5 years from now, Renee will be twice as old as Dana. So we have to find out what one of these is correct. And what I might mean by that is we have to add 5 to each of Dana's. So I'm just going to do it above. If Dana is 5, 5 years from now, Dana would be 7, which would mean Renee would be 11. If 7 times 2, does that equal 11? No. So we know this isn't correct. If Dana 5 years from now would be 8, 3 plus 5 is 8. Renee, 9 plus 5 would be 14. 8 times 2, does it equal 14? No, this wouldn't work. If Dana is 4, 5 years from now, Dana would be 9. Renee would be, 12 plus 5 would be 17. 9 times 2 equals 18, so this wouldn't be the correct age. Remember, we're adding 5, 5 years from now. Renee will be twice as old. If Dana is 5, she'll have to be 10 5 years from now, which means Renee would be 20. 10 times 2 is 20. Here's your answer, kids. So you have to kind of plug some different numbers in. The first one would be D times, or Renee would be 3 times as old, so D times 3. So now you solved your problem. So you have to start with one algebraic expression here, and then you're plugging in numbers to see what you get, and as long as it follows the second rule. So it's a pretty cool problem that has 2 rules to it. Follow the first rule, and then follow the second rule to see if your numbers make sense. Other than that, kids, sorry it took me about 25 minutes, but you're going to be going through this and working it out. It's a pretty easy test as long as you take your time. Common mistakes that I see, and I'm just going to help you out. So right here is the common mistakes that I see on the test. Okay, I even made that common mistake. Look what I forgot to do. I forgot to graph these things. I'm glad I looked back at my test. So the first thing, at 1 minute, go up to 80. At 2 minutes, I have to go to 160. At 3 minutes, I have to go to 240. At 2.5 minutes, so now that'd be right back here, I have to go to 200. See how it follows the same rule? At 4.5, I have to go to 360, which is obviously off the chart, but it'd be up there, wouldn't it? At 5.5, it's way off the chart, so don't worry about that. And then you also on the test, you have to draw the line. Common mistakes, kids forget to graph the stuff. The reason I'm going back over it because I want you to understand that this is important to look back over your test. We'll keep going here. These is take a look that you're answering the question that it's looking for. There's no reason to get these wrong, kids. Keep looking back here. Another common thing, make sure when you're finding the radius or the area, that radius squared is 36 and not 12. Another common mistake. Another thing here. I even see kids make mistakes on these. Circumference and area. Circumference means perimeter, the outside. Often I'll tell you that, imagine Mrs. Green told me to go to the store and buy fencing for our yard because we want to keep Nala and Beckett in the yard. Well, if I go and get enough fencing for the inside of the yard, she's going to look at me like I'm crazy because I'm going to bring all the fencing back and then lay it in the middle of the yard. Well, guess what? Beckett's getting out and running all over the place, and Nala, she's in the neighbor's trash. I don't know what's going on. But if I buy just enough for the outside, perfect amount. Some other common mistakes. These, just make sure you're taking your time. There's no reason to get these incorrect. Okay, if you take your time, see what the question's asking. This one as well, pretty easy problem. These, taking your time. Algebraic expressions, look for keywords. If you're not sure what the word deposit means, you can raise your hand on the test. I can help you out with that. So no problem there. But right here, if you see the word times, I sure hope you're multiplying. Okay. Another word here, divided by. I don't know how much easier it could possibly get. So good luck. And you'll do just fine on this. Please remember to ask questions if you have them.